friend like me.
Cruella de Vil and the Genie walk into a bar. What are they drinking?
Ooh, let's go Miller High Life.
Genie, cheers
Cheers.
to the high life. Well, you have a story with High Life, so why are we drinking High Life today?
Absolutely. It's the champagne of beers.
Ooh,
It's
yeah.
actually the first beer I was ever like, I could not stand beer. And I was like, no, it's not my thing. I like stronger drinks. And a friend was like, no. This isn't just a beer. This is the champagne of beers.
This is the High Life, baby. So
he introduced it to me in a can, and he was like,
In a
nothing.
can?
He was like, nothing bad can come from a gold can.
Oof, oh my God, France is rolling around right now. Like,
And I was in it. I was like, okay, I was in it. And then the glass bottles. I mean, it's sophisticated.
it's actually like a champagne bottle.
And like,
It's got the body, it's got the thin neck. Like, it really is the champagne of beers. It could be just like, obviously the normal cans of beer or the normal bottles of beer have that sharp edge when they go into the neck. But this is a nice,
sophisticated design.
neck.
Exactly.
Just like, wow. Look
With
at that.
a lady on the moon.
With
you
a
know?
lady on...
And you don't need a chilled glass because it comes in a chilled glass.
It's already, this is, wow. This is amazing. So you said this was your first beer. How old were you when you had your first beer?
Honestly, I was like 19, 20.
Okay. All right. So
A
that's
little older than I thought I would be.
Yeah, but that's good, I think. I mean, I never drank. I was like a total nerd in school, so like I never drank. I was a thespian. I know you can relate. I was in
wonderful.
ballet. I was in theater. I was a straight A nerd that like loved to hang out with my teacher. So I never drank. And then in my 20s, I was an athlete, so I never drank then either. I didn't actually start drinking until I was like late 20s, early 30s. Yeah, never could get behind beer. Honestly, you know why? Is because like I could drink. It's the same thing that happens to me with pizza, and like, don't kill me, New York. Like, I love pizza, but like, yo, I can eat an entire pizza and I'm fucking starving. I could drink a keg of beer and be like, what?
Right.
I'm just
I didn't
full
even
now.
have a drink yet.
I didn't even have a drink yet, so I don't know if that's just, but I don't know. Maybe this will be different. Maybe the bubbles will, give me a little bit of a
little,
You think the
right.
dog? Oh, this poor dog here. He probably needs a little my guy. I'm terrible at taking care of animals. This is why I'm Cruella, because like, obviously get them drunk and then skin them.
Exactly.
Okay.
Who needs to take care of them? Wear them.
Wear them. So, all right, we're here today, obviously, because you are in the hospitality industry. Not only are you in the hospitality industry, but you actually work at Champagne Problems. It's been now about 6 months. I first met you in March of 2025, and I remember your email. It came through, it's me, Korie Lee, with like all the exclamation points, and like everybody knows me and exclamation points, and you were like, I worked at Rock Center, and I worked at Dave & Buster's, and I worked at all these places, and I also in Times Square and in theater, and I was like, yo, high volume, like to a T. Because in the cocktail world, yes, there's those mixology bars and those cocktail bars that you sometimes look for with their experience because they're going to know about cocktails. They're really going to know. But when you're looking for high volume, you're looking for these chains. And it's because there's always a million things going on. Obviously, you say something like Times Square, Dave & Buster's, Bill's Burger and Bar. Like, I know how crazy those environments get, and maybe you're not making, Sazeracs left and right, and you're not making paper planes left and right, but you're making a lot of cocktails, and you're making them fast, and you're making them for a lot of different types of people, a lot of tourists, a lot of people that maybe don't even speak English, a lot of people that like, so that's where that high volume comes in, and I think that translates to when we are busy and you have to make a lot of these crazy ass cocktails. But I remember you in the interview, and I was like, immediately I was drawn to the chain because you know me, I'm like a big accessory type of gal, and I like that diesel chain, and you came in and you were like, it's me, Korie Lee. And then you said, and I was the genie in Aladdin, and I was like, oh my God, the genie is here. But we were in a group interview, so I couldn't like fangirl out too much, but let's just get on into that. You were the genie in Aladdin, and I brought this here because you have to do my favorite, and I don't even know, did they do this in the musical? When Aladdin rubs the lamp and then Genie has his arms crossed and he's like, what do you need? What do you need? Do you do that?
Yes, it's a little later. He comes in and like there's this big entrance full of smoke and ooh ah, how did he come in? And honestly, it feels like you're being pushed out of a tube of toothpaste. So you get out and you're like, woo, how's that for a smoking entrance? And then as you're talking to Aladdin more, you're telling him about the rules and it's like, poof, what do you need? 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 What do you need? And it's really like you're just trying to make him your best friend. And it is that.
It is
Ooh,
that.
the only thing we don't say is, 10,000 years in a lamp.
You could now.
But you feel it.
Yeah.
You feel it.
Yeah, 10,000 years in a toothpaste tube.
Yes. It's like Augustus Gloop going up through the tube.
Oof, what do you need? Well, okay, but that obviously translates so well. I mean, it's a joke, but like it really translates to hospitality. And, you know, being in this industry, I say this all the time, it's a one-night stand or till death do you part. Like, you don't know. It's the only industry that you can pick up and put down while you're pursuing your other passions and dreams. And quite often, a lot of it is artists. It's actors, actresses, dancers, someone in the arts that, you know, needs a job that isn't a hard 9 to 5, that is something that they can pick up, put down because they have auditions. Obviously, even in the past 6 months that you were here, you have been gone. You were cast in a couple of really amazing roles. And so it can be difficult, but at the same time, then you have these personalities that, I mean, anybody that's ever met you, you have the most infectious personality. You are the Genie, but you are also Korie, and everyone loves you. Like, I love when I can hear that laugh. It's this boisterous, like it fills the entire venue. And I know everyone's like having a good time with you. Maybe the drinks not coming out so fast, or maybe we're taking our sweet old time, but like when you get there, when you show up, it is just, it's very powerful. So let's shall we start at the beginning? So what made you get into theater? Like, what was your path? Where did we start?
I was just a wild and crazy kid, and theater was the only place I wasn't told to sit down and shut up. And like louder was better.
Right.
And wanting to stand out was better.
Yeah.
So that was like being the best football player, being the best basketball player, being loud and unafraid to make a fool of yourself on stage. That's what everybody was looking for.
Right.
And in school, that's not what everybody's trying to do.
That's true.
So I was like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
I have to stick with this. I didn't know anything that Broadway was a job. I didn't know anything. I just knew theater is something I have to be doing.
Where are you from originally?
From good old Bay City, Michigan.
Oh, okay. So
Right about here on the mitten.
Okay. Got it. Okay. So from Michigan, because I was going to say, if you didn't know Broadway, obviously thinking about like where you were from to not think that that could be like a career. But I guess that's true of many places, unless you're from one of these like bigger cities that does something like
Right.
that. So, okay, then you were born in Michigan, you went through theater, and then what happened next? Where did you go next?
I went out to California for a spell
Okay.
with a group called the Young Americans.
Okay.
They promote education through music outreach tours, and to keep school performing and to keep learning music and education as well. And went out there, had a great time, and then I was just like, this isn't for me.
Okay.
The West Coast is not my coast right now.
Yeah. No.
I'll try it later, but right now, and it was the first time I'd ever been away from home. And to me, it was like, that's 3 days away from home, because you'd take 3 days to drive it. Not 5 hours of a plane.
Yeah.
I never thought it that way. I was like, I'm 3 days from home.
Yeah.
And so I was like, this isn't working out. Let me go home and regroup. And then I went back to Michigan, worked, and did theater. And it was either go into business. My mother was an interior designer. And so it was either, all right, join her and work with her, or move to New York and pursue theater.
Oh, this is where the style comes from. I get it now.
And
Thanks,
my
Mom.
mom was like, you have to go to New York.
Oh,
You've done
okay.
everything here.
Uh-huh.
And as much as I would love you to work with me, you belong in New York.
Oh my God! Cheers to Mom. Let's have a little cheers to Mama.
Absolutely.
Because
And my mother loved drinking High Life, and she would put pretzels in it for the saltiness, similar to a chip.
oh my God, is this not meant to be? Whoa, you got to get her here. We need her here.
Well, fortunately, she's here with us every day. Every day I come in, she's here.
I see.
And 100% like going through that only made me a stronger individual to keep performing. And like being behind a bar, that created characters for me. So
Absolutely. It's a new
when you
stage.
say like poof, what do you need? Poof, what do you need? Sitting here hearing you say poof, what do you need was me saying, that's what I do with every guest.
Yes.
It's however you respond to me when I first talk to you, that's the character that I'm going to give to you.
Absolutely. You're going to
And so in Aladdin, when you had to keep changing characters to try to impress Aladdin to make him your best friend, my family would be like, you're not acting. That's you on a Thursday. That's you on a Saturday. That's you at 12 years old. That's you at 18 years old. So it's all different pieces of me. And as a bartender, a lot of performers go into bartending because you can just be different characters and you're performing the whole time.
Right. And you hear me always say, you put on your princess hat and you do have to be a character when you are there. But it's really important, like you said, you want to match the energy of that group because each individual or each group that comes in, they want something different. Sometimes they are on a date and they just kind of want you to be in the background to serve them the cocktails while they, fall in love or fall in whatever way that they're going or get to know each other for the first time. Sometimes they're on a bad date and they need you to save them from that bad date. So they want you at the table a lot. Like, can you make this more interesting? Could you get us more drinks a little bit faster? And then sometimes it's birthdays or bachelorettes and they want that big energy. And that's exactly what you do. And obviously, everyone knows that no one is going to get a better happy birthday than a personalized happy birthday from Korie Lee because we all wait for it. Even the other employees are so excited. They're like, it's Korie time. And you're singing and everyone hears it and it's like an opera and you're making everyone feel so special. But it truly is. You have a Broadway singer singing to you happy birthday. How many people can say that? So it is very true that you need to match the energy of everyone, and it is different characters, and being able to read people is just like being able to read your partner on stage and the way that they came to work that day. I was in theater once upon a time too, and sometimes you have to carry the other one, or sometimes maybe they forgot their lines, or maybe the energy is just not there that day and you have to make up for it, and other times maybe you're the one that needs a little bit of help. But it is a lot of that. It's a lot of improv too, because like you said, every single day you walk in, you don't know who you're going to see, what kind of mood they're going to be in, and we win them 99.9% of the time. Every now and again, unfortunately, we might lose one, but it's very rare that it happens, and obviously, we never mean to. So, well, I did not know that about your mother, and so I am so happy that you're here with someone that, I consider myself always like a mother hen to everyone that comes under my wing. And so I would love to, take what she said and keep you going here as your New York City mother that wants to see you. And I know that I've said this to you before, but I want you to be a big star, huge star. I can't wait for the day we look back on this episode and maybe this podcast is blown up for me, or maybe I'm doing something, globally. I want to have a global hospitality company and put our properties everywhere. Maybe we're opening a Champagne Problems in Vegas, or we're opening it in London or something, and you are performing on stage in London at the time, and we'll always connect. But you are helping my dreams come true, and I want to help your dreams come true. And that's the exchange, right? You need a paycheck to pay your bills, and you need a job that has flexibility so that you can continue to audition and do all the things that you have to do. But at the same time, you obviously bring so much to the table, and it's so important for me that, we know that there are so many options in New York, and at a time that it's difficult to get people to go out and to spend a lot of money because money is tight, things are tight, they're choosing us, and so we have to choose them right back. We have to say, we choose you too. You chose to put on that outfit for us. You chose to make that reservation. You chose to spend that dollar here, so we're going to choose you right back and show you how grateful we are that you've chosen us. And I know that when people interact with you, that they feel that, everybody feels that with you. So, all right. So you moved to New York City, and then what?
I started waiting tables.
Yep. Yeah. All right. So what was your first one?
Bubblegum Shrimp Company.
Bubblegum in Times Square?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah, baby.
They weren't even open yet. I went in to fill out an application. They were doing applications like in the basement of Hard Rock. They rented out the space down there.
Yeah.
And they were applying and doing applications there. I applied and I called one of my friends and I was like, look, I wrote you down as a reference. They're going to call you. So they called my friend and she gave them, she was used to be a performer. So she gave them a full show and they hired me. And it was just a company that they promoted on performance.
Yeah.
And so within 6 months, I rose to the top, was the area leader, server, bartender, host, did everything in the front of the house. And then I started doing openings. And I did like 15 openings. Hong Kong, Japan, Tokyo, Mexico, like 3 or 4 of them. Got to meet like the president and all the mayors in Mexico. Like every political person came to this event, and there was like this VIP smoking lounge and on the upper level. And like I would babysit their kids. And because I was babysitting and I liked all the kids and we always had a good time, then I would get to go hang out with all the adults at the evening hours. And just meeting different walks of life. And I didn't speak any other language. So in Japan, I would talk with the translators to ask what they were asking their tables and making sure everybody was just having a good time. It was like I was a mascot almost.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. And then I got called in for an audition, and they wouldn't let me leave the opening to go to an audition. I was like, well,
shoot,
I moved to New York for theater.
for this.
So this is putting acting on hold, so I'm going to have to step away from doing openings.
Yeah.
And then it was like, all right, now focus on acting. So I started auditioning and started working at a couple of the places, Dave & Buster's, Bill's Bar and Burger, and that was all like Times Square, Rockefeller Center, meeting wonderful people, but I would just fall in love with the work that I would slowly be working all the time and not auditioning.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I got to pull back again. And then I started auditioning. And I would do a couple things here and there. Like I did my first New York show was called Pinkalicious.
Okay.
Children's book. It's blown up. It's about a little girl who eats too many pink cupcakes and she turns pink.
Okay.
And then she has to eat green veggies to turn back.
To turn green.
Yes.
Wow.
And she turns green because she eats too many green vegetables. So then you have to balance it out. And it was a children's musical, and I played her dad. And we played a lot of cafetoriums in upstate New York.
Cafetoriums?
It's like gymnasium, cafeteria, and auditorium rolled in one.
Cafetorium. It's a good day when you learn a new word. So that's
cafetorium.
Shit.
And then I was like, okay, I gotta push. I gotta focus on me. I started taking classes like with casting agents, and I started taking like voice lessons, working with different music directors. And then I started booking like more regional shows. And I worked out in North Carolina doing The Lost Colony, and that's like about the first settlers that came and the first English-born baby. And they do it technically where they would have been when they first landed. And then they disappeared. And nobody knows where they went till this day. Nobody knows where the colony ended up. And it was a great show, wonderful time. And then I started working more, regional theaters. And then I worked in Utah. And I was doing The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I was doing Peter Pan and Tarzan. All 3 shows. That's like 7 months out there. And I auditioned for the tour of Aladdin. While I was out there, I sent in a video. And they were like, hey, can you come to New York just to audition? And they let me come to New York. I auditioned, and by the time I got to the subway, they had called and asked me to do a Genie camp. And a Genie camp was 12 gentlemen that looked like myself. And for a week, we went through the singing, acting, and dancing of everything you would do on the show.
Oh, wow.
And right away I was like, well, I'm not a dancer.
Oh, no?
And I figured that out then.
Oh, I see.
I thought I was fine being a mover and shaker.
Yeah, the shoulders
until they were
moving.
like, and now's the tap dance. And I was like, tap?
Yeah.
Well, turn on the charm.
Yeah.
Because make jokes.
Yep.
Because you can't tap dance. So at the end, we had to do all the material. And my way of like, how do I stand out when everybody here looks like me? I would always go first, even if I didn't know what I was doing. Because they'd remember me more for going first than they would for messing up.
100%.
So I was like, always be first.
Always be first.
And then filming, I stood next to the camera so they could just see basically from the waist up.
Yeah.
And after that, they were like, Korie, we're going to have to do this again, but we need you to move to the other side.
See those feet, boy.
Because we can't see it from, we can only see from the waist up. And I looked at him and I was like, honestly, you're going to like that video a lot more if you only watch it from the waist up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I moved, I did the choreography, some of it, and they cast me as a standby on the first tour of Aladdin. And at that time, I didn't even know what a standby was, but I was there for it. And that just means you sit in a dressing room, and if something happens during the show, The show will stop as long as it takes you to get ready, and then you will finish the show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I never had to do that. And the Genies all on tour were friends, the understudies, the standbys. And like, I came in and made the rule, if you start the show, you have to make it till intermission. So nobody has to do Friend Like Me as the beginning of their show. You need the full show to warm up into Friend Like Me, because that's 18-minute number.
Oh, shit, really?
So we were like, you at least have to do act one.
Okay.
And that was always the rule on tour, just an unspoken rule that we made between the three of us. And I never had to go on during the show. The other guy had to go on mid-show and cover a couple things, but I never did. COVID shut us down early, the tour. And it was like, okay, well, we don't know what's going on in the world. We don't know what's going on in theater. Just wait and hold on. And then as theater started coming back, I was like, well, how do I get in the Broadway company? I know everything. I have a costume. And I would keep asking my agents, and nothing was happening. Then I found out a friend was leaving the show because he wanted to go back to school. And I was like, there's an opening.
Let's go.
There's an opening.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, would you be interested? And I said, yes. And I said, okay, here it is. And then I didn't hear anything. And I was going home for Thanksgiving. And I said, hey, just a heads up, I'm going home for Thanksgiving. If you need me to not, I will gladly not.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stay here and be available for you. And they were like, no, everything's all good. And I said, okay, well, maybe they're not going to go with me right now. And I went to see a show, and at intermission, I was in the lobby talking to another one of my friends that we were on the tour together. His name's Jacob. And we were talking in the lobby, and Casey Nicolau, the director of Aladdin and choreographer of Aladdin, walks right up to us. And he's like, well, look who it is. Hey, Korie.
Oh, shit.
And I was like, hey, how are you? Can I audition right now?
Yeah.
What's next?
Poof, what do you need?
Right,
Poof,
right,
what do you need?
exactly.
Poof, what do you need?
And he was talking about the show, and he was like, there's a lot of tapping in there, a lot more than Aladdin. And I was like, yes, but, I'm still ready to do it when you are. And he was like, great to see you. We went back to our seats. The next week, they reached out from Aladdin, and they were like, hey, would you like to join the Broadway company as a standby? And I was like, it was running into him.
Yeah.
He had to be like, why isn't Korie in the show?
Wow.
And I didn't even have to audition. And I went in, and I was in the Broadway company, and I got to make my Broadway debut without an audition. Who gets to do that?
You get to do
And
that.
like, it does come from the hard work that I did on tour.
Yes.
That I gave the show, and I love the show, still love the show. Gave my right ankle for the show, but I was in the Broadway company, and I got to make my Broadway debut.
So, a lot of people say, you're so lucky, you're so lucky. You hear this term, you're so lucky. And I agree that there is a certain level of magic out there. Santa Claus is real, obviously. But you make your own luck because of who you are. Because obviously, yes, things lined up. And he could have come and walked by maybe any other human being, but it was you that he was drawn to, you that stood out, because you did all of these things because you knew how to stand out. And okay, if I can't tap, because that's something that takes years and years of practice. I picture you as like Lucille Ball when she was like auditioning for tap,
100%.
and she's like tapping here and there, but she's Lucy, so like she still gets on the show no matter what. So like that's you. And she faked it until she made it for a real long time. And in New York too. It's not that you got lucky. It was all of the things, all of the bricks that you laid to be you, that yes, that luck, that little bit of magic did step in and allowed you to cross paths with one another. But he called you in, or you were brought in because of you, because of who you are. And I think that, well, also, should we have not been practicing tap during COVID, young man? Should we have not been YouTubing a little?
I probably should have been brushing up on my tap. But at that point, I was like, well, I had done it for 4 years on tour. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm good on that.
I'm good on that.
I'm good on that.
Okay, so your first night, Broadway debut, how are you feeling? What's the crowd like? Tell me what it's like to step on stage on Broadway in New York City.
Over the moon. Exhausted from all the rehearsals and like just thinking what is actually happening. Because when Aladdin first opened on Broadway, I had a birthday party at the bowling alley at the back of Port Authority.
Oh, nice.
I had a birthday party, and as we were walking there, I took a picture holding the stage door saying, one day I'm going to walk through this door to go to work.
Wow.
And full circle moment when I walked through. Also, the address of the stage door is 219 I lost my mother on February 19th.
Oh, shit.
So it was so just, I'm right where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I am right where I'm supposed to be, doing exactly what I love. And half the cast at that point was brought in from the tour.
And
So I
she's
was
showing up.
surrounded by people that I knew.
And she's showing up along the way to show you that she's with you.
Yes,
219.
absolutely.
She's like,
Little
Mom's
things
here.
that are like,
Yeah.
hey,
I'm
I
here.
got you.
Let's
Don't
keep
worry
going.
about this. You've been doing this all your life.
Yep.
Next.
Next.
Let's get on stage.
Keep it moving.
And it was the greatest experience ever to, like, when the show opens, the curtain rips and the genie is standing there, not as the genie, but as like the narrator. And you're the first thing the audience sees. And it's just like, I would stand behind the curtain and I would say thank you. I would thank everybody I could think of and just have a little chat with myself like, look what you've done. Look where you are. You deserve this. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And I would just keep talking until the curtain went poof. To not get nervous, to not let anything else creep into my mind. I controlled the conversation until I was in the show, and then everything else disappeared. And it was just like, what is happening? Crazy thing, my Broadway debut, my right pant leg came undone on the ankle. And so I held my pant leg up for most of the choreography and like tap stuff. I would hold it up. Luckily, I'd done the tour for like 3.5 years. So my mind was like, we don't have to worry about anything. We know the words up here. You figure out what's happening around here.
Yes.
I'm like, there's 1 second where you leave the stage and you get a drink of water and you come back on during Friend Like Me, because Friend Like Me is like 18 minutes long. And you leave the stage for a moment. They tried to fix the pant leg, and by the time I was back on stage, it was already unbuttoned again. And I was like, that's all right. That's all right. This isn't going to mess up my show. This isn't going to mess up my show. And like, there are a couple pictures that like friends and stuff took in the audience that they shouldn't have been taking, but they got me the bootlegs. And I can see the pant leg, and I'm like, oh, that pant leg. And crazy story about the right pant leg. 3 months later, I tore my Achilles tendon on the right side. And that's what took me out of the show.
And that's...
But the same number, the same leg, the same area.
So what happened? You just...
It was a 2-show day. I had already done 1 show. I had gotten new shoes. And I was like, oh, let's try on the new shoes for tonight. I was downstairs talking trash to the crew guys. I was like, you hear that, audience? Let's go wake them up. Because I knew I was coming on, and when the genie comes on, everybody goes wild. So I was just down there talking trash, like, here we go, y'all.
Yeah.
Let's give them what they came here for.
Yep.
And popped out, shot up out of the toothpaste tube, and started talking and saying my lines to Aladdin. And then the genie says, and now for the nice kids in the back row. And he does a cartwheel. When I did the cartwheel, when my right leg left the ground, I just heard a loud pop. I'm like, in the handstand of the cartwheel, I was like, that is so rude that off stage they are so loud that I can hear them on stage. That's obnoxious that people are making so much noise backstage. I can hear them while I'm performing. I didn't know it was me.
Oh, shit.
And then I came down out of the cartwheel and I tried to stand up, and I just kept putting my right leg on the ground because I couldn't feel anything from the ankle under it below.
Oh, my God.
So I was just hitting my foot on the ground, trying to figure out what was happening. My mind started freaking out. I stood next to Aladdin. I said all the lines at once. And then I looked on the ground and I saw the black hole. The black hole means the microphone's popping up out of the ground. That means the song has already started.
Oh, God.
That means I am starting a 17-minute number and I can't feel anything under my right ankle.
Oh, shit.
With dance, and the tap dance is 4 minutes at the 4 minutes at the end.
Oh, no.
So I'm trying not to bump into people, and I'm trying to limp around on stage, not do the choreography, but get out of everybody's way. And I'm singing so, I'm like, sing with everything you got, because that's all you can do right now.
That's all you can do.
And the stage manager noticed, and she said, everybody pay attention to Korie, something's wrong. Just so everybody knows, if I go down, everybody's watching.
Yeah.
I went off stage for that second to get a drink of water, and before you come back on, they said, something happened to my right ankle. I'm not sure what it was. Just something happened.
Yep.
And everyone scattered. I didn't know if they were going to get help or not, but I knew I had 13 seconds before I had to be back on stage and finish this song. So I just went right back on stage, and kept singing the song. And here comes the tap dance. And I didn't do the tap dance, and I was trying to be out everybody's way, bumping into people. But then you have to walk to the back of the stage, and the platform starts to rise out of the ground. And rising up, I started to get dizzy.
Oh, shit.
Because I was like, we have to walk down these stairs and back up these stairs. And at that moment, I put my arm around Aladdin, and he tapped my hand like, I got you.
I got you. Yeah.
And then he started kicking his forehead down the stairs like a rocket. Like, we always walk down the stairs kicking.
Yeah.
But this kid's like 6'3" and weighs like 85 pounds. And he starts, I'm singing Mr. Aladdin, sir, and he's like, whoom, whoom, kicking his feet higher than I feel like. Maybe it was because I was injured that it felt higher, but it seemed like he was kicking his forehead, walking down the stairs. And I am like, one at a time, hobbling down the stairs. Get back up the stairs, finish the song, finish Act 1. And after Act 1, when the lights went down, I was like, at least you didn't call out during Act 1. Yep. And I was like, that was the rule that I set.
That was your rule. And you.
So I made it to intermission. And by the time I got in the elevator, all the fight or flight, everything.
The adrenaline was
right,
gone.
Everything was gone, and I just
you were in pain.
Broke down. And
yep.
I was like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I just kept saying sorry. And everybody was like, why are you saying sorry? And my stage manager was like, you're probably the strongest person I ever know. And I worked on Spider-Man on Broadway. And she was like, unfortunately, I do think it's your Achilles. And they got me all fixed up and called a car, and I went down to the car, and I shook everybody's hand, and I was like, it was nice working with you, because I know I will not be back in this building. And the next morning, I had a surgeon's appointment. Unfortunately, it happened on a Wednesday night. My family flew in on Thursday to see me on Friday.
Oh, fuck, man.
The good news, they seen me on tour multiple times.
Yeah.
Bad news, they didn't get to see me on Broadway.
Right.
But at the same time,
for that show.
I'm so grateful that they were there with that injury. So for that week, we were able to just hang out, and I was able to be with my family.
And be together.
And the day after they left, I went into an 8-hour surgery.
Fuck, man.
The surgeon said 2.5 years until you're back and you're ready, and it'll be stronger than it was before. And we are now at 2.5 years. And I was just able to go do Cats in Texas. And now I'm auditioning, and I'm going to dance calls and movement calls. And we're back at it. And I'm dancing at Champagne Problems.
So obviously,
stop by and see the moves.
Yeah, oh yeah. Now that I know, we're gonna do some PT before every shift. Not gonna be pre-shift. It's gonna be physical therapy. We'll do some bend and snaps before.
I do those. I do those. Like when I get ice, I'll do those. And when I go downstairs, when I'm on the steps, I'll flex and do things.
Keep everything warm.
Every day, like before I wake up, I do like my physical therapy warm-ups and stuff like that. So
damn, man, because what you just described is obviously every performer's and every athlete's worst nightmare. You know, I went through something similar as a ballet dancer. As a dancer, I danced on the Norwegian Dawn as one of my first dance jobs, and I went up to do a leap. And when I went to land that leap, the ship wasn't there because it was swaying,
constantly moving.
Yeah, and so I pulled the hamstring, and I remember like what that felt like. But you keep dancing because obviously there's people watching you, and you know this comes from you hear me say this all the time, you know, keep it moving. Yes, you're not always going to show up every single day at 100%. Maybe you're not feeling, but you're performing. So it's you know, someone to hear your story like that, and this is the type of, you know, environment that I kind of came up with as well, especially in ballet. It's very strict. They don't care that your toes are bleeding. They're bleeding through your shoe. You're on a piece of wood. Right. You're still dancing. No one cares about your bloody ass toe. Keep it moving.
Right. The harder dancers are usually the bloodier ones.
Yeah. And then, you know, I transitioned into fighting, and my last fight, I definitely broke a rib and I definitely broke a wrist. But you keep moving, and you don't feel it until the end. The end, and then everything has settled. The adrenaline luckily kicks in, but you can't stop in the middle of a fight. You can't stop in the middle of a show. You can't stop. And so this is always, you know, my mentality. I know you know how I am, but it's that keep it moving. And obviously for someone like you, we know, I didn't end up as a ballet dancer. That was like what I wanted to do, but my hamstring, and I didn't treat it the right way. I didn't take care of it. I kept dancing. I was one of those, you know, stubborn assholes. I kind of danced through it, and that made it worse than better. But it is every performer that needs to physically be present. It's their worst nightmare. But, you know, I'm a fighter, and I always say that I'm going to fight. The only one that's going to, stop this fight is me. And so this lives within you as well. And you already made it through all the way to Broadway, not being able to use your legs in the way that you were supposed to. So you're going to make it again. You're going to make it again in the Korie Lee way, no matter what, or no matter how. You're going to take care of yourself, and you're going to get right back up, because now the, intermission is over. Now the break is over, and ding, 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 the bell is rung. Get back in the ring. Get back in the ring, and you keep on fighting for your dreams. You keep on fighting for what you want. So, and I'll be damned if I don't go through this lifetime and sit at a Broadway show at the front, with the VIP tag around the neck, okay? Because we are all going to be there. Your family, this other family that you've also, accumulated. And just something else, I know that, Drew had mentioned this actually in his episode, and he had, put it very eloquently, or he spoke about how you have to kind of manage like two personalities that day, or, and he had said that there are days when like you're running out of things, but the guests can't know that. So the guests can never know. They never know. Guaranteed on that show, you're limping and you're tearing and all of these things, and they had no idea. They probably thought that it was the greatest show, and it's because you showed up for them that way. You didn't say, well, sorry guys, I'm in pain, so gotta go. And
I'm gonna walk off stage during the middle of this number.
Just somebody cue the music in the background. Somebody else sing the song. You showed up for them. You finished the thought. You put your princess hat on that day, and you right until the very end. You had this integrity to get it done, and that is, very demanding of a human. But as performers, or as people that are into this high volume, that's just what we do. So I mean, kudos to you, because that's a really incredible story, and I have no doubt that you're gonna get right back to where you need to be. And remember, I always like the whole everything happens for a reason. This shit gets me. It gets me sometimes, because it's like, it's what everyone fucking says about everything.
How dare you say that right now? Because those words, my mom used to always say that to me, and it made me angry.
Yes.
Like ready to flip a table and break a couple windows angry.
Yeah.
And the second I heard that my mother had passed away, I immediately thought, everything happens for a reason. Now find out what this reason was for.
I know.
The learning lesson. What do you have to learn now? And I had to learn, I can't rely on anybody else. It has to be me. Stop everything else and only focus on you. And I only focused on me. And it felt like it was the first time in my life. And now I know what that feels like. Now I know who I am. Had to lose the greatest part of me. But I gained a confidence that, like, look at what I've done and what I've gone through in my life. An audition is just an audition. I will never hear the worst news I've ever heard in my life. That's past me now. So somebody on the other side of that table saying no? Okay. Do you know what I've done? Do you know what I've gone through in my life? And what has felt like on my own? I brought myself to Broadway through my hard work. I would rehearse Friend Like Me 3 times before I'd allow myself to go to sleep, because I knew that's what I had to do. And I can't call Mom. I have to call Korie and say, buckle it up, kid. You got to do this. If not, every year you spent away from your mother was a waste. And that was not it. That was not nothing was a waste.
Damn, man. We're all given a genetic cocktail that we're born with. There's things that you learn growing up, and you take from certain people, but whatever it is, like 777, whatever that slot machine is, you were born as you, and obviously you pull from your parents, and you'll take certain things, but there's something that's very special that lives inside of you. And I can tell you that not everybody could look at that and immediately say, well, now what am I going to learn from this? The worst news that I've ever been given, and turn that into something even more powerful. And this is a gift, Korie. This is a gift. And if anything, the role of the genie was to be Aladdin's best friend, to be to show Aladdin a better way. Aladdin just wanted money and riches, and he didn't know how to be he wasn't thinking about being a good friend, or a good boyfriend or husband, or looking for the things that really matter in life, which is connection, which is, all Genie wanted to do was be his friend, He just wanted a friend. He was so fucking lonely, always giving people money, and they always want the same shit. you are that because you taught Aladdin, the genie teaches Aladdin love, and you are teaching the world love. And this is a gift that you've been given. And by your mother not being here physically, she is your cape. She is your superhero cape that follows you around ever and allows you to be super Korie. It's me, Korie Lee. If I've ever thought of or seen, a superhero suit, it would be exactly that. And she's your cape following you around everywhere you go and gave you that strength to be able to be everyone else's superhero. And I always say, we live these lives, we go through these things to pay forward our stories. It's the only thing that we can do. I also say that you're only given what you can handle. My life at times, it's always hit after hit after hit, punch after punch after punch, but I am a fighter, so I'm going to take punches. I can't do anything else but take hits because it is just who I am, how I was born, and the only thing that's going to make it right is for me to pay forward that story and for you to tell the story of achieving your dreams and then the hardest news that you've ever heard and then still being able to be one of the most positive and wonderful people to be around. You're infectious. I've said it. Everyone knows it. And obviously you could have chosen a certain path, but you wouldn't be doing right by your mother. You wouldn't be doing right by you because that's taken down 2 lives and that's not what we're doing today. And there's no way that maybe she left you physically on this earth, but she is still here spiritually. She's still here mentally. Her blood runs through your body. And so, the most brave and the best thing you could do for her is to continue on her legacy and continue on who she is. And, I didn't know this shit about you until just today. And already I'm moved and I can feel your mother here and watching this. And you're talking about high lives and you're telling your story, which I hope that, millions of people will see and be like, when they lose their mother, okay, well, now my mom is my cape and I'm a superhero. And how can I fly through this earth? And how can I help other people who may lose their mother or may lose someone that they love? How can I be this positive light when there is nothing but dark? Thank you so much for sharing that with us and with everyone. I have no doubt that you're going to get exactly where you want to be, but I think that you are where you want to be. You're in a city that loves you and surrounded by people that love you. Every single day, the people you come across, they love you. You make their day better. You're already, doing something that's so powerful, but let's switch gears here. Let's actually first have a sip because damn, man, I might need my cigarette after that one too. Woo! Okay, so dream role.
Dream role now? Like Washington and Hamilton?
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Washington.
And there's no tapping in that.
No.
There's no
tapping.
That. So.
And he doesn't play 2 characters. And when he leaves, the show gets so sad. So why not be able to leave and be in the dressing room when everybody else gets sad?
Yes.
So it's and it's such a beautiful character. But because James Monroe Iglehart, who created the role of the Genie, was Thomas Jefferson, they always see me and want me to audition for that role.
I see.
And he has to jump off a table.
Yeah. No, we're not doing that.
I'm not here for that.
Not for here
we don't
for that,
do cartwheels. No. We don't do stunts anymore.
No.
So Washington just has a strong impact on me. Though I've auditioned for Madison as well. And so I'm keep trying to break down those doors. But right now, Washington, and other than that, I'm waiting for something to be written that's big enough with a strong enough impact.
Well, I think that, I'm big on manifesting and putting out what you want into the world. So you need to start to say that every single day. Who's going to put out that part for me? What's that next role going to be? What is that next dream role? And we're going to publish this. We're going to get this on the internet. And it's going to be what we're going to put it out there. We're going to put that shit out. Drake taught us to manifest. Okay. So we're going to fucking manifest that shit out. We're going to keep saying it. There's going to be a role that's going to come for you. And I know that it's going to be the right fit, but you're going to keep on auditioning and getting more roles. And really what it is about getting out there. I remember, I acted too when I was young. I had Dr. Frank Ford was a professor in Santa Monica High, and he had told me, you get a million no's before you get a maybe. And it really is what it is. And this ties into, I got no for 3 years before I got a space. No from landlords, no from agents, literally dropped. No, because you're a chick. No, because you're alone. No, you don't have enough money. No, we just don't like your personality. Like, no, 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 no. And I remember that way back from when I was a teenager and all of those no's. And he taught me, actually, he had said to me, and this is, almost 25 plus years ago, and he had said, Reese Witherspoon isn't necessarily the most talented actress, like, off the gate. There may be somebody that has more natural talent, but Reese Witherspoon never gave up. She always kept showing up. She was going to chip, she was somebody that executed. And so I feel like, there's something to be said. Yes, there's people that maybe easily have more money and could get it done, but I never gave up. You're never going to give up. All of those no's will lead to the yes that it's supposed to be. After 3 years of no's, I finally got the space. I got UES, the ice cream shop speakeasy, which 8 years later people still love. And during that time of those no's, it was very frustrating. Like, this is never going to happen. I'm never going to get this done. Nothing but fucking no's. A De Niro no, a no here, a no there, blah, blah. Everybody knows the story. And then it was a yes, but that yes was a resounding yes. A yes that is still saying yes today. I still walk into UES and I'm still transfixed. I still feel something so special when I walk in there. It was the first place I ever created. It was the first, it was seeing your dreams come true into one space. And then when I see people enjoying themselves there on a date or for a cocktail or catching up or with family, like, I mean, it makes everything, worth it. Makes all of my dreams come true all over again, just to see you enjoying yourself in something that I created, something that I fought so hard for. So
it gives you that moment of like, all those no's were worth it, just to see that one day.
Yes.
To see that one couple sitting there laughing nonstop.
Yeah.
It's like, those no's were worth it.
I went through those no's for you, for this, for
Right.
us, for us. And that's what's frustrating about it, is that, like, because when you're in it, you don't want to hear this. This fucking no was meant for, this is
Right.
meant.
Oh, this is going to
Fuck
make
this
you better.
shit.
This is going to make, no, it's not.
No, it's not. It sucks.
Casting me in the show would make my life better.
Giving me the space right now would make my life better. Not telling me no.
Would be better.
Damn.
I'm going through that right now. I probably had the most auditions I've ever had in like the last month and a half. In 2 years, I probably have not auditioned as much. And so many things were coming that I was just like, oh, this is perfect. Of course. This is the next step. Why wouldn't this be the next step? This is great. This is great. And keep, nope. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, don't get discouraged. You know that you have to go through, start checking off more of these no's, get them out of the way. And my mom would always, when I'd call my mom, be like, no, I didn't get it. She'd be like, well, that just means their show's going to suck. It can be great with you, or it could be mediocre without you. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
What's next?
Next.
What's next?
And you know what?
And it's like, man, okay.
Yeah. And what did I tell you at the beginning of this, before, when we were chatting, before we started filming? I told you that everything is about to change. And now we're sitting here and these ideas have come. Fuck it, baby. I'm going to make your next role, because we're going to curate a brunch. We're going to curate a brunch with performers. And why wouldn't we curate a brunch where we have a Broadway singer singing some Broadway, where you can pay to hear some Broadway sounds? Maybe we program something where it's, different melodies or different musicals, and we change it, and then, we can sell tickets and you're the singer and you're the performer. And that's what people come to do. They come to drink and hear you perform. And then we get it big enough that people are like, this brunch was so fucking fun. This guy's so fucking fun. He's so fucking talented. Everyone's drinking champagne because this is your house. This is your house. Like, definitely this is your house. And so why wouldn't we? So, like, let's get to work, actually, because I feel like that's what's
we got work
next.
to do.
We have work to do. So you're no longer going to just see Korie Lee, the bartender. You're going to see Korie Lee, the performer, because we have the stage. We've set the stage, and this is your house. And so I think that we need to lean into that, and shit fucking does happen for a goddamn reason. So here we are. We both didn't think of it. Now we're recording this episode. You're helping my dreams come true. What did I tell you? I want to help yours come true. And I know that after everyone watches this, they're going to want to help those dreams come true. So we're going to keep tagging everyone at Hamilton. We're going to invite them to a nice brunch, maybe an after party.
come have a cocktail.
Come
Come get
on.
some bubbles.
Hamilton holiday party. I see it.
Right. This is it. Like, when I first walked into Champagne Problems, I was like, I have to work here. I have to work here. And everything in the emails was from UES. So I didn't know Champagne Problems and Taylor Swift. So when you said, are you a Swiftie? I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then when we started talking about the bar and everything, I was like, oh, this makes so much sense. This is so amazing. And like, I love to share that story. I tell that story with so many people that come in here about how amazing it is. And everyone loves some Champagne Problems.
Yeah. Yes. And your champagne problem is that you're getting some no's, right? Remember that the idea of a champagne problem is not a real problem. You're getting no's. It's not a real problem, right? You still are exactly who you are. You're still eating and paying your bills and going through life. We know that real problems, real problems. Your champagne problem is some no's on auditions. But eventually, that glass is going to be filled, and it's going to be a yes. So cheers to some champagne problems. Cheers to Miller High Life, the champagne of beer. And
That's right.
cheers to you, Korie Lee.
Thank you. And cheers to you. To dreams.
To dreams, baby. Dream of this puppy around my neck.
And I always said, you don't need a magic lamp. You don't need a genie. You just have to be willing to do the work.
That's it.
And I've talked to so many people at stage doors and said that. And when I was on tour, we were in San Francisco, and I took a picture with a little girl. And she said she wanted to be a performer. And I was like, well, you can do whatever you want if you're willing to do the work.
Yep.
And this summer, when I did Cats, she was in the show with me. And it was like 14 years difference.
Okay, so then I take back that original cheers. Take it back. Cheers to doing the fucking work, baby.
Absolutely.
Do the work.
Do the work.
That's it.